You live. You breathe. You think. You feel. You are alive. But are you really? How much as humans do we really know about ourselves? How far have we gone to understand the true depth of our abilities? Have we really pushed the boundaries of our minds, of what we as human beings can do? Hidden in plain sight lies an unimaginable potential, ready to unchain our minds to endless possibilities, bursting with knowledge that was never explored before, turning our basic existence into a higher being, a being that can know, a being that can believe, a being that can become human. In August 2004, the US Air Force Research Laboratory published an official report titled simply Teleportation Physics Study. It contains accounts of dozens of scientifically credible experiments and studies researching teleportation and other telekinetic abilities. It concluded that telekinesis and teleportation are real. The Air Force report states, individuals who are able to completely bend or contort their metal specimens with no physical force being applied whatsoever. Numerous government science advisors and senior military officials took part or witnessed these events. But to be able to gain exclusive control over these powers, the US government needed to make sure that no one else researches and develops it. And there was only one way to do that: to convince the mainstream society that super abilities such as telekinesis do not exist. Government funding and formal university research into human super abilities were halted. Mainstream science was ridiculing parapsychological activity, yet while the average human was being fed the idea that telekinesis is a fairy tale, government officials all around the world were meeting to explore and learn about telekinetic abilities. Why were the establishments so afraid for the general public to become aware? Could it be because if we realize our potential, unlocking it and setting it free lies just an inch away? That anyone can become a superhuman, just like that. Imam Ahmad al-Hassan, peace be upon him, said that the key to doing telekinesis is absolute certitude, meaning to believe that we have the ability to do it. Telekinesis does not have to do with faith in God, whereas giving life to the dead has. It is like learning to ride a bike. In the beginning we fall, but with practice and repetition, it comes naturally. The truth is that by practicing and believing in our abilities 100%, every single one of us can become telekinetic. What would you say if you found out that your average university student could perform telekinesis? In 2001, University of Arizona psychology professor Gary Schwartz conducted a large-scale spoon-bending experiment with his students. Those were students that had never before used telekinetic powers. After a short instruction, and with the help of patience and visualization techniques, almost every single student was able to bend the spoons and forks. Almost all of them reported that their initial cynicism turned into wonderment as they watched themselves bending their utensils away. After the experiment, the spoons were collected and sent to a materials science professor, who concluded that the spoons appeared to have been melted by heat. This heat reached to 1,300 to 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit. These students were able to unfold their psychic powers within hours. This ability lingers within us, waiting to unfold. Ancient accounts and fables suggest that our ancestors have always possessed supernatural abilities, which enabled them to manipulate matter with the sheer power of their minds. In the Mahabharata, a 2,000-year-old epic poem written in India, one of the key characters uses the power of telekinesis to manipulate the dice in a crucial game in order to alter the outcome in his favor. This event was a major turning point in what would become one of the two major Sanskrit epics of ancient India. So what if stories of ancient civilizations using telekinetic abilities are not fairy tales, but accounts of humans living up to their potential? Nina Kulagina is one of the most mysterious and astonishing people known for telekinetic abilities. The phenomenal abilities of this woman was studied by more than 40 scientists, including 2 Nobel Prize winners, for nearly 20 years. Kulagina discovered her telekinetic ability at a young age. She could move small objects with the power of thought alone, or change the trajectory of their movement without ever touching them. Kulagina's story gives some astonishing insight into what happens within a person's body when telekinesis is practiced. During her telekinetic performance, scientists observed that Kulagina's body would create energy fields and start to heat up. British researcher Benson Herbert reported that when Kulagina touched his arm with her hand, he experienced an intense pain, and a burn mark appeared that took 8 days to heal. It seemed like all the research and test results into how telekinesis works point towards one answer. A human who practices telekinesis can project their body's internal energy outward in order to affect and manipulate objects. In fact, the well-known physiologist Dr. Gennady Sergeyev examined Kulagina's brain activity during her psychokinetic performance and detected electrostatic and electromagnetic fields surrounding her body. Sergeyev reported that the fields were strongest around the objects she was focused on. He concluded that telekinesis, in fact, means moving objects by extending one's energy field. Today, Imam Ahmad al-Hassan, peace be upon him, revealed exactly how telekinesis happens. Imam Ahmad al-Hassan, peace be upon him, said, "The energy for telekinesis comes from 2 parts: the eyes and the fingertips." Channeling your energy towards developing new skills like telekinesis is just a matter of choice and practice. Thousands of people all around the world have mastered the skill of telekinesis, and so can you. Kulagina's story inspired a generation in Russia. At the St. Petersburg Institute of Biosensory Psychology, seminars were conducted with hundreds of participants worldwide. attendants were learning telekinetic abilities like moving small objects and changing their direction. Hundreds of people who participated in these seminars were now gaining control of their powers and pushing the boundaries of normal human abilities. The works of this institute were honored by the Russian government, as well as the Guinness World Record book in 2008. They were titled "The largest community of people that were taught telekinesis skills in the shortest period of time." So what is holding you down? What is keeping you from realizing your true potential and moving to the next level of human existence? Telekinetic abilities have been scientifically recorded and proven, but people have been programmed to reject any possibilities of the supernatural. Media outlets and establishments are still portraying telekinetic powers as fiction. The constant ridicule of psychokinetic abilities has been anchored within people's subconscious and is keeping them from realizing their true potential. But if this really tells us anything, it is that the difference between ordinary and superhuman, between average and outstanding, between hesitation and confidence, is just a thought. A thought that should be in our control, not a weapon in the hand of mainstream society to downgrade our existence. Imagine the world of possibilities that lie between our very hands if we would tap into this astonishing source of power. As people discovered their abilities to not only merely move objects with their thoughts, but to apply them on living beings as well, something extraordinary happened. Chulin Sun is a Chinese woman with exceptional abilities. As a practitioner of Reiki, she learns to bring the Qi energy of traditional Chinese medicine under the control of her mind. In January 2000, the American Journal of Chinese American Medicine featured Chulin Sun in an astonishing study. Chulin Sun was not merely able to move objects, but to influence time. By mentally projecting Qi energy on dry seeds, Chulin Sun was able to accelerate the growth of specific plant seeds. She was able to advance the time required for sprouting the dry seeds from 3 to 4 days to 20 minutes. Within that time, the seeds grew shoots and roots several centimeters long. Sun worked with dozens of scientists from all around the world for over 16 years, bringing about hundreds of successful replications over this course of time. Her abilities were also demonstrated on more than 180 occasions across Asia and Southeast Asia. The power that lies within the human mind is endless, and its potential we are yet to fully grasp. Telekinesis is just one aspect of what lies in wait for the human being.